Hello, hello. How are you, beautiful people? Hey, so I started drinking this stuff. I saved my kombucha bottles and I ripped the labels off them painstakingly because glass bottles are great to store stuff in. So you take a little bit of what's that? Apple cider vinegar, some lemon juice, some cranberry juice, and some water. Some doctor on the internet showed me how to make this. It's really good for you. It doesn't taste too bad. Vitamin C. It's good for you though. If it tastes like hell, it's good for you. Remember that. So anyway, I'm taking a look at this awesome switch that Tycon sent. Oh my god, this is so much better. Tycon sent me this amazing switch. This is their new one. This is the TP-SW8 GAT/BT/24SFP. This little guy here, actually it's right behind me. It's actually pretty decent. So this one here has 4 ET, 2 BT, and 2 universal passive slash AFATs. AFAT. Yeah, it's a decent freaking switch, and it is a 54 volt WISP switch, or industrial switch, I should say. Now, today I'm going to show you guys how to set it up. So first things first, let's find the firmware for it. All right, so we've looked this up online. This has actually taken me to the Tycon Systems support page. So we're going to go on here for firmware and see if there's a new firmware for it. Okay, so this is the TP switch. Wow, Windows is stupid. It's actually showing up down at the bottom here off screen. It doesn't look like it's in there. Maybe it's in here. No. 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 Let's see here. GAT, GBT. Let's just verify this. SW8G, SW8GAT, GBT, 2SFP. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's firmware for this one just yet. No big deal. Anyway, let's jump back over here now. So let's take a look at this neat switch. And it's making me log back in again. Don't worry about that. Okay, so let's see here. What is the system description? There's all the wonderful stuff right there. There is the product name right there. So the first thing I'm going to do here, let's click on basic information. Or do you want to take a poke around? Because I can just take, I think I already did a review on this, but here's our switch monitoring. Yeah, there's all of our stats. I think it's showing that the input voltage is 25.38 volts. So what will happen if I turn that up a little bit? Turning it up. We're at 29 volts. Maybe you have to refresh the page. And I got to sign back in again. That's odd. Let's blame that on Chrome. Okay, cool. All right, so now, what else we got here? We basically got all the neat stuff. I think I already did like a walkthrough on this. Why can't I get to the drop downs now? Let's try recentering the page. No, it's actually the web browser thingy that's broken. Let's try refreshing the page again and see if the... And I have to log back in again. Wait a second. Why am I not able to get into my menus now? There we go. It just took a second. No problem. No problem. I'm sure it's fine. Anyway, let's poke around in here. So you've got everything in here. I'm pretty sure that I went over this when I did the product review video, the software and whatnot on it. But let's get down to some programming first of all. So we've got our port configuration here, and this is where our common stuff is. So we've got port trunking, learn limit, protected port, all this neat stuff. Basically everything that you want a switch to be able to do. Okay, common configuration. Let's see here. Selected ports, blah, blah, blah. This is just for the gigabit access and whatnot. Actually, I wonder. Let's poke around and see what. I think 9 and 10 are technically the SFPs, are they not? They are. Let's see what settings we can do on here. Up to 1 gig, to be expected. Awesome. But more importantly, let's take a look at some other stuff. First of all, the IP basic configuration here. So you can see the setup in here. I've actually set this thing for DHCP, but the settings didn't take. So why don't we apply some DHCP to this first? All right. So first of all, I'm going to choose line item number 1, and we're going to make this VLAN 1 like so, and we're going to enable. Where'd you go? And it logged me out again. This is kind of fun. I'm enjoying it. All right, let's do this again. Okay, so I'm going to go to IP basic configuration. We're going to go to IP address configuration. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to click on it. It's not doing anything. Am I connected properly? Huh? And it signed me out again. Well, now, that's kind of odd. All right, let's go to IP address basic configuration, line 1. All right, let's set the DHCP client on this so we can get it to pull an IP address, okay? So I'm choosing the line item here, VLAN 1. There's the IP address, subnet mask, and prefix, okay? Now, let us set. So that should actually push the changes into the switch now. And that should now pull up an IP address from my network. Okay? So if that's saved, I should have lost access to the switch. Now, I already know what the IP address is going to be because I checked it out. 192.168.255.70. There we go. So the IP has been changed. This thing is now on my network. Okay? So now that this thing is on my network, I can now do... Oh, look, it actually kind of works a little bit better now. Some of the icons are back. Okay, cool. So now, that's the IP configuration. All right? Now, one of the things which we probably want to make sure that's enabled is jumbo frames. So where are we going to find jumbo frames on here? Well, here's flow control, and flow control could be very important. All right? Flow control is off. So with flow control, we should probably enable that on the trunk ports. So let's do that on ports 10, because that's going to be one of the trunks. We'll apply that. See, industrial switch is a little weird to get used to, by the way, but don't be afraid of them. You just have to accept the fact that it's a very, very simplistic device. I mean, God knows there's a lot of configuration here, but it's just not a pretty fancy GUI, because pretty fancy GUIs are bleh. So anyway, what flow control is used for, and I like to use it on WISP networks, because if you've got a link that, say, is saturated, for example, like for some reason your link is saturated, what'll happen is during the point of saturation, it's going to start tossing packets. You're going to get packet loss. You're going to get latency. It's going to make things go to shit. Flow control fixes that. Okay, so that's why I'm enabling it on the trunk ports here. Now, let's go down here to... I'm looking for jumbo frames here. Okay, I'm clicking on common configuration. There we go. Let's see if we can find jumbo frames. Hey. All right, I'm not seeing that there. Port trunking, learn limit, protected port, broadcast term. That's kind of port rate limit. It might be under here. Jumbo frame configuration. There we go. So it's under system configuration. So first things first, let's enable jumbo frames. So this will do full frame. Let's just set it for baby jumbo. All right. That will ensure that if our network is running 1600 or 2000, which are the common layer 2 MTUs that a lot of VPLS consultants typically put on for MPLS, VPLS, that'll ensure that there's enough headroom there. Now, notice that didn't say layer 2, layer 3. That's because this is a layer 2 switch. So it kind of goes without saying. All right, so that window has just disappeared. And come back to me, switch. I wonder if it's rebooting. And I've got to sign back in again. Okay, cool. There we go. We're signed back in. Let's hope that configuration stuck. Jumbo frame configuration. It did. It did. Good. All right, so that's in there now. I'm just going to hit apply one more time just to be sure. It's not very ergonomic. Like, it's not clicky. It doesn't, you don't feel the changes apply. Not a big deal. Don't worry about it. The big thing at the end of the day is that you see the changes apply when you're doing it through the GUI. Now, I do it through the GUI because many of you guys are comfortable using GUIs, whereas command line's probably a more effective way to program this, and I'll show you some command line stuff on this thing after. All right, so now we've got that in place. Okay, so we've got that, safe management, jumbo frame, save current configuration. We probably should save the current configuration. So, see, this is what we've got so far, which is very similar to what you would recognize with a Cisco switch configuration. Basically, what I'm doing right now is the equivalent of a write mem. So that's basically taking the running config and writing it to the system memory. Okay, so now that's been taken care of. Let's go down the list here to VLANs, because we definitely want to get some VLANs on here. So I'm not going to make this video super long, but I have been struggling to get this video done because of just, for some reason, excuses always pop up. All right, so what do we have here? Static VLAN configuration. All right, well, let's add another one. Let's add 1001. That's my typical management VLAN. So I'll just add that, apply, and that should show up in the VLAN list. Now, since this is site number 1, let's add the customer VLAN, 4001. Cool, we're going to call this one last mile, apply. Cool, we added another VLAN. Now, what ports are we going to... I've got everything except for port 8 configured on this thing. Why don't we just do 7, 8, 5, and 6 on here? So let's go 108. So this is going to be port 8. There we go. We'll apply that. We'll add this one. We'll add 107 for port 7 now. So what we're doing right now is we're adding the VLANs into the VLAN table here. That's all. So there we go. We've got a couple of port-based VLANs for backhauls. We've got our general bridge ports there as well. Okay, so that's all in there. Okay, so now let's go back to the system configuration here. And I want to show you something. So if we show the current configuration file, you can now see that we've got some more stuff in here. Where are the VLANs? They should be showing up in here. I don't see them. Let's save the current configuration. Come on. Save. Is it doing anything? Here, I'm going to click on VLAN configuration now. I don't feel it's... Yeah. Took too long to respond. What are you doing there, bud? Are you committing changes? All right. Let's... There. I think it's back now. Okay, cool. Now, I should be able to see this in the configuration. No. No worries. Okay, let's go down to the VLAN configuration now. Okay, so we've got VLAN information. Cool. This is actually showing basically the active ports on here. That's why all these ports in here are showing up as VLAN 1, because right now they're in the open bridge. Now, GE stands for Gigabit Ethernet. So GE 1/2 is switch grouping 1 port 1. Switch grouping 1 port 2. You'll see this, you'll recognize this in Cisco and other commercial switches, where you'll see the Ethernet port type, like GE or 10G or whatever, or XFP, and then 1/1 through 20 or 24, 48, whatever. So now let's go down to VLAN port configuration for a second here. Now let's configure the VLANs. Okay? Don't be afraid of these Tycon switches. They're actually not bad. They work pretty good. I've been using this one out in my lab in the backyard since I got it. Because I thought, what a great way to test it, right? Than to beat the living hell out of it. Oh, it's snowing really hard outside. Isn't that charming? Okay, VLAN port configuration. There we go. So now we can set this. Okay, so watch this. This is how we do this, okay? So first of all, we got our trunk port here, right? We've got our trunk port here. We're going to set this up as a Should I make it a hybrid or a trunk? I'm going to make it a hybrid. Okay. We're going to pick a VLAN over here. So let's start with VLAN 107. And we're going to tag. And that's going to add it as a tagged interface into that list. So you'll see in a second, we'll have all of our tags stacked there. So with this behavior that I'm seeing right here, it's almost like it's committing the changes as soon as I click on something, which is why it's stalling for a second. Let's push this back a little bit. I actually have a network adapter hanging from here. Okay, VLAN port configuration. Are you working there, bud? Come on. Come on. I'm clicking. I wonder if this is a Chrome thing. No, it's just not responsive. Okay. Come on, you little bugger. Is that my Ethernet port? Did my Ethernet port go funny? Has that been the problem the whole time? That might have been the problem the whole time. Looks like my Ethernet cable came loose, but we'll find out in a minute if this is a switch thing or if it's my Ethernet cable not being clicked in all the way. I actually had to put my finger in and push up on the plastic locking tab, but we're back in now, so I'll just Control-C this and put it out of the way for now. There we go. Now shoo. All right, so let's see here. So we've got VLAN 107 tagged on port number 10 now. Now let's add the next one. Tagged. That's better. Tagged. Tagged. Cool. All right, so now all these VLANs are tagged on GE1/10. Now let's do the same thing now with, and by the way, notice up here how it says untagged VLAN 1. That's the open broadcast domain on port 10. We only want to remove ports from the open broadcast domain on the trunk port that are needed for specific port-based access. Why? Is because it's one of these little tricks that I've got when programming switches is I like to make sure that any core devices have direct access over their open broadcast domain. So that way, if something breaks, which can happen in the middle of the night, you don't need to worry about having to access a VLAN to get access to the management interface of the device. You just plug into one of the access ports or one of the trunk ports on the device, and you'll have direct access to the management interface. That's a little Sarah trick that I like to do. Okay? Now, let's do this again with the other trunk port, which is port 9, okay, which is the other fiber. This time I'm going to try something. Let's see if I can do this. I wonder if I can select. Can I do that? Will you let me do that? Pairs not. Let's start from the bottom then. Yeah. A little bit of starting from the bottom now. Yeah. Get tag. You're not working? Come on. VLAN port configuration. Can you please take me back to the VLAN port configuration? Are we disconnected again? No, we're still plugged into the switch. Okay, no problem. All right. Am I still in frame? There we go. There we go. Okay, so how's port 10 looking? Port 10 looks good. Let's go back to port 9. This switch looks like something that wants to be programmed through the CLI. I'm pretty sure that's what. Oh, this is why. We want hybrid. This is a hybrid port. So sorry, that was my bad. So port, type of port, VLAN, and then we can add it. Come on. Realistically, I probably should be programming this one through CLI. Oh, cool. It changed color. That's neat. All right. Let's go back over. What? What are you doing? There we go. Okay, so we're going to change this one to hybrid, high dex. And we're going to tag this on port 9. Cool. Now let's go to 101. Tag it on port 9. Tag it on port 8. By the way, I set one of these switches up earlier this week, actually, for a client of mine, and it worked pretty good. So, give it a shot. Don't let the weird GUI stuff discourage you. That could simply be something to do with Chrome, because Chrome has been kind of janky lately. Okay. Tagged. All right. Is it tagged? Whoops. Okay, good. All those guys are on there. Cool. All right, so now let's do our access ports here. So these would be backhauls, okay? So this is an access port. So the VLAN 8, first of all, we need to remove this, by the way. So we're going to unmember from VLAN 1 here. Come on, you going to remove it for me? Oh, do I have to click on there? Unmember? Alright, let's click on 8. Untagged. You gonna add it? Come on. What's going on there, bud? That's an access port, which means that it's an untagged port. Okay. Oh, wait a second. This might be counterintuitive. Port 8, access, VLAN 8, default VLAN? Ah, that's what you do. Okay, so there we go. So now VLAN 108 is the default VLAN on here as an untagged interface. Now let's do port 7. Cool. Knowing is growing. All right, so access port again. We're going to use VLAN 107 because this is port 7. Default VLAN. Very cool. Okay, so there's that. All right, so now let's add ports 6. I want to make sure that I'm not plugged into a port which I'm going to use. Okay, I am plugged into port 2 and 1. So we're going to leave those ones alone. So now let's do the customer VLANs. Let's do 6, 5, and 4, and 3. Okay, so 6 will be an access port. 4001 would be the customer VLAN, and that's going to be the default on it. Now I'm probably going to have to set this up as a hybrid, but we'll find out in a second. Let's see here. I should be able to tag. No. Yes, it needs to be a hybrid port. Darn. Okay, so let's add the tagged interface here. So then this is our management VLAN. And then we need to add 4001 is the default VLAN on here. Okay, there we go. Untagged. See, untagged VLAN 4001. Tagged 1001. So that's our management VLAN. That's our customer access VLAN, okay? Let's do the next one. So we're going to set that for hybrid. Okay. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go VLAN 4001 as the default VLAN on here. And now we're going to add our management VLAN of 1001. Cool beans. All right, so now let's do our next one for hybrid. All right, so default VLAN is 4001 because that's the customer VLAN. Okay, and we're going to add our management VLAN, so it's tagged on this interface, which means that the tag carries through. If you want more details about that, look at my last mile VLANs video or router on a stick video. That explains all this. This is basically, I'm focusing on programming this switch for you guys. Let's see here. Yes, Dex. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm getting comfortable here in this gray, long, liquid noodly thing is getting comfortable on me too. She likes to cuddle at night. Okay, so default VLAN. Oops, I messed up there. Did you see what I did wrong? Hybrid 4001 default VLAN. There we go. And now we can add our tag. Are you going to let me add my tag? There we go. So that's in there now. Now, I'm going to leave 1 and 2 alone because we're simply using those ones for configuration right now. But if we do an overview again, okay, so 9 and 10 are our trunk ports. Notice that the deep... We'll give it a second. I might have worked it a little too hard. You coming back? You coming back there, bud? There we go. So ports 9 and 10 are our trunk ports. So they are open. So the management will come through on them, right? That's the open broadcast domain. That's VLAN 1. That's where the management interface is currently configured on this. Don't change that unless you really have to. Because I usually put the trunk ports, I'll usually put them into a management bridge where they're out of harm's way anyway, okay? So that's all the VLANs programmed now, okay? So now, let's go back up here and let's take a look at let's save our configuration. There, look at all that neat stuff. You know what I'm going to try as an experiment if I get the motivation to do so? That's going to be a coffee day. As I'm going to see if I can actually export this and dump it into a Cisco switch's command line and program the Cisco switch with that. Now, that's under the assumption that the interfaces are called GE. But anyway, take a look at this configuration. So the cool thing about this is if you don't want to use the GUI, this is a cheater way of learning how to program this switch because these are all the syntaxes and commands to get in there and program everything on this particular switch. Neat, eh? Now, you can also learn little things about this. Egress tagged 107. See? So there's, let's see here. Switch port access VLAN 107. Neat, eh? So if you want, I'm just going to stop for a second, and you can, like, pause on the screen and absorb the text. This is the actual back end. This is what you would see in command line, okay? This thing basically is the command line, what you're seeing right here. This is the configuration. So this is being saved. Okay. Now, I can take the configuration file as well, and I should be able to export it, I believe. Can you let me do that? Download. Yay. Just don't click on delete. That wouldn't be a good thing. Don't click the delete button on the configuration file. Hey, chicken butt. All right, this site can't be reached. That's probably because it's applying the configuration. Oh, we've got our file. Okay, cool. Let's open this thing up and see what it looks like now, the config file. Oh my God, Windows, you're terrible. Where's Notepad++, you stupid thing? Oh well, whatever. Real hackers use actual Notepad. All right, there we go. So there's our configuration exported now into an actual human-readable text file. I could literally take that, copy and paste it into an SSH terminal or a serial console terminal on this and program it. Let's see here. I haven't had to do CLI in a long... Why does it keep doing that every time I hit refresh? Oh, it created a new tab to download the file. Just remember that, guys. Okay, so that's our configuration now. Now, there's probably some other minor points in here. Let's see here. There should be a port isolation function here. Flow control, port statistics, broadcast storm, port trunking. Cool. All right, let's take a look at common configuration. There should be a port isolation option in here. Let's see here. Access, hybrid. I'm getting, like, beaten by my cat's tail right now. I'm not seeing the port isolation programming unless it's completely escaped me on this. Flow control, broadcast storm. Just for shits and gigs, let's look under that. No, that's a regular spanning tree function there. Cat is gone. Port rate limiting, that's handy. If it comes up. We'll give it a second. Come on. You can do it. I have faith in you. Come on, little thing. You can do it. Alright. Oh, it signed me out. It must have rebooted, I'm assuming, after I did stuff and whatnot. Alright, so we're back in now. Alright. Let's see if I can find... Oh, it's doing that weird menu thing again. Oh no, where the plus symbol's not next to it. At least I can click on the file folder. Oh, it's coming back in slowly. IGMP, GMRP, EAPS, MSTP. Oh, that's another thing, sorry, is we need to configure spanning tree, which I believe is done under MSTP. So we want to make sure that this guy here, I think we have to choose each port individually to choose the type of spanning tree. Root guard, port fast root guard. There we go. RSTP. That's right. I believe that we need to do these guys individually. So for our spanning tree on this guy, let's see here. We're going to enable MSTP, which it should actually be spanning tree. And let's see here. What? Let's see here. Passport. There is our port priority. So this is the lowest priority right now. Something to keep in mind, folks. Okay, Cisco Interoperability. Yeah, let's add that. I really should try this in a spanning tree environment with MikroTik and see what happens. Not right now, though. Okay, so now can I go to port configuration for my spanning tree? Cool. All right, so we're going to set this guy up for rapid spanning tree because remember, if you've got unmatched spanning tree, what's going to happen is that what's going to happen with a mismatched spanning tree protocol is you are going to see weird shit happen, like false loops or just broken connectivity. So you have to make sure that in going between devices is that your spanning tree protocol is the same on both devices as long as they're both in the same broadcast domain. Okay, am I boring yet? I feel like I'm boring. So it looks like we've got to go through this manually. Oof. Rapid spanning tree. Apply. Port 8. Rapid spanning tree. This is pretty streamlined, knock on wood. Just as I say that, there we go. Rapid spanning tree. Cool that you can configure them port by port. Like, these guys are kind of like a MikroTik in a way. They've got a lot of functionality. Like, they've got everything in them that a switch should have. All right, here we go. All right, spanning tree is set. Port 5. Did you work? You're not doing anything. Did you do something? No, it did that again. Okay. You are a strange little switch. Come on. You can do it. I got faith in you. Let's fire up the ping again. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put this on one side of the screen. Let's do this. Then I can keep an eye on the ICMP. Did you just pop my boop? All right. Okay, port configuration. Where were we? Port 5? All right, so it clearly didn't take that. It did something. RSTP, let's apply that. Did you take the change? There we go. It took the change that time. Makes me nervous when it doesn't acknowledge in any way. Oh, I am such a GUI person. Now, I have to say, though, I kind of prefer doing things in the GUI now. It's been so long since I've actually been, like, working on Cisco gear. Oh, I don't miss CLI. Sometimes CLI is extremely handy and you can move around really fast in it, but for the most part, if you can do it effectively in the GUI, why not? I'm sure everybody will have an argument as to why it's stupid to do it in the GUI, but whatever. Like, maybe if the GUI is a little weird. Okay, so we've lost access to the GUI again. We're still pinging the device, so... Is there something janky about the GUI on it, maybe? Come on, you can do it. There we go. Alright, so it looks like that applied. Now let's go to port 3. Alright, you definitely want attention. Okay, I'll pet you. I'll pet you, my minion. I'm giving off the mad scientist vibes, aren't I? Alright, here we go. We're going to set this one for RSTP. It's a very basic config. Now, something which I haven't found yet on this guy is the LDP, link or LLDP, Link Layer Discovery Protocol. I haven't found that on here yet. What's the stop one? Is that a global? RSTP? Apply? Huh. Cool. Well, that's handy. Yeah, like I haven't found LLDP, so there's no Link Layer Discovery Protocol functionality built into these guys as far as I can tell. And I can't find a place to actually set the host name so that when you discover this thing, the host name will actually show up appropriately. But that's essentially it. I just showed you guys how to do a basic setup on a Tycon. If you guys want more advanced functionality, you can find it in the manual on the Tycon site. But or if you want to know more about this guy, don't forget to leave your questions in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys enjoy our content... No, I'm not quite there yet. All right, let's see here. I should go back to the system configuration now, and I should apply these changes. Save current configuration. We're going to save this. And I want to take another quick peek at the file here. Yeah, I wonder how many people stopped the video because I was like starting to sign out, and it's just like, they're going to miss this. All right, so here is our full config file. This is fully configured now, okay? Save. Can you please just... There we go. I feel like it's acknowledged it now. So we've got everything we need in here. There is our full... there's our full configuration. Of course, the password is encrypted. Now, for that system configuration, here, let me see here. Where is the user auth? Let's see here. User auth. Cluster management, Armon configuration, EPS. Where is our... it must be under system configuration. Let's check. Basic information. There it is, user management. Let's add a user account as the last thing. Sarah. Okay. Let's add our password. Here we go. There we go. Privilege. I want to give myself privileged. Okay. Apply. Take it. Come on. Do it. Do it. We added our user account. Yes. Okay, so now let's go back to save configuration. There it is. There's our usernames. Yay! Save. Commit. I want you to do something so I can, feel like this committed the change. There we go. 5th time's a charm. The screen went funny. I'll accept that. That's probably good. All right, let's take a look at the configuration file now. fact that it has delete there is actually kind of handy because you can like dump the entire config. There, I'm just going to download that again. Look at that. Now, by the way, keep in mind, it's opening a new tab to download the file. Whatever, that's fine. This thing's making a lot of noise. Not the switch, the kitty. Okay, so there we've got our file. It's downloaded. Great. This is a configured switch. So that only took, what, 40 minutes? And I'm sure there'll be a lot of fat shaved. So anyway, there is a Tycon switch configuration for you guys using the GUI. If you want me to do the CLI on this one, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please join our Patreon if you want to help fund the channel. Especially if you find our content useful, because every little cent counts. It costs quite a bit to make these videos, believe it or not. I have to buy equipment. I have to pay for an editor. It's also my time that comes out to make this stuff. So if you can contribute, please do. It really helps things out. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for watching. I hope this was informative and handy, because here's an actual Tycon switch tutorial for you. Okay, so thanks. Have a good night.